Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to Murdered Soul Suspect. We were just making our way through the Judgement House. I went and just double-checked everything on my first leg of the journey through here, and I only missed one collectible. So we're gonna go and grab that right now, just before I forget. You do have to backtrack all the way through Judgement House when you leave, so I thought about doing it and grabbing it when we were leaving, but I figured since we're already sort of close to it, we might as well just go back and grab it. So we're gonna go back up a floor, and this was the area where I had been fighting with the demons, and I actually got my first death in this area. So we had just finished coming from here at the end of the last video, and the collectible I missed was just sitting in the middle of the floor. And I think the reason I missed it was because when you kind of get out of the cutscene with the investigation here, the game automatically cuts and it literally puts you in front of the collectible. So I didn't turn around and look at it sitting on the ground here.
The vibrations I'm getting from this house are off the charts. It's like the museum. The old violence tries to take over the new. I have to tell Officer Baxter about this. This could be a vital piece.
So I wonder if Joy's mother actually was able to tell Baxter that the Bell Killer might be here, because he was the one that was looking for him despite the fact that he was taken off the case. So yeah, that is where that last profiler's memory is. That is the only thing I've missed so far collectible-wise. So I just thought I would grab that, and now that we've done that, we can carry on our little way here. Now I did take care of a couple of demons off screen, just because I figured the process is always the same for taking care of demons. You guys have seen it 100 times by now, and it'll just speed things up a little bit. So this demon here is patrolling in this room. I should be safe over on this side of the room. He tends to kind of stick over towards that other door, so I'm gonna kind of just inch my way over, and then I'm gonna try and get behind him and execute him. So I didn't have too difficult of a time taking out these demons, despite the fact that there's 4 of them. You have 2 crows to aid you in getting rid of them, and most of the demons are, although they're in the same room, they will kind of spread themselves out. So there's 2 demons in this room, and then 2 demons in that other room where I killed the last one. So let's go back to the room that we started in, which is this room right here. If we turn around and we go through the wall here, we can phase through this crack using our teleport ability. And we have another collectible here. We've just got one more of Julia's thoughts before we finish up that little bit of collecting. There's 2 incredibly obvious collectibles right here in this room. There is our last witch trial history piece. That'll get you another achievement. And then there is a plaque over here. And we're just missing another one of those. Now, there isn't anything in this room from what I can recall, but if we go down towards the end of the hall here, we could phase through yet another crack, and on the floor here is the very last of Julia's thoughts. So that's another collectible set, all finished and completed. We can go through this bathroom, and I do believe we want to turn and go through this wall here, and then keep walking through, and we will find the last, second to last pieces of the Ashes to Ashes story. We are now out in the hallway, just off of this room here. If you were to go straight and continue through, you'd come to this hallway, and this is where we need to go to continue the story. So we're basically going down to the cellar, the wine cellar here.
Oh my God, Baxter? I should have been the one that stopped you.
Ronan? What the hell is going on?
You sick bastard. Why'd you do it? Why'd you bring back the witch trials and kill all those innocent girls?
You think I'm the Bell Killer? Are you insane? I've never killed anyone. You gotta help me. What is this place? We gotta get out of here.
Oh, we gotta get out of here. All of a sudden, we're buds. You need to tell me what's going on here.
Yikes. It looks like the Bell Killer really did a number on his eye. That looks nasty.
So, who killed you?
The Bell Killer, you idiot. But I didn't get a good look at his face.
Well, you got awfully close. That's probably why he wanted to dispose of you.
Where's the killer?
No idea. He could be anywhere. But when we fought, he said something I didn't understand at all.
Wait. The killer actually talked?
Not much, but I think I hit a nerve. I told that bastard he'd be dead soon, but he said, I already know death. And then something about his instrument of death will kill again tonight.
My instrument of death? But he kills different ways every time. I don't get it.
Yeah, me neither.
We gotta figure out what that means.
Well, that's a very, very important clue if we can figure it out.
What were you doing here?
Following a lead. I never dropped the case. Had this psychic, Cassandra, working with me. And we figured out the Bell Killer is hunting mediums, like a witch trial execution copycat. At that point, we couldn't let it go, even after Rex demoted me.
So that's why you're at the museum.
Okay, well, that makes sense. Maybe he knows where Cassandra is.
Do you know where Cassandra is? Is she still alive?
Last I checked, yeah. I took her to a safe house outside of town.
Oh my God, she's alive. I was sure she'd be dead too. Joy would be freaking ecstatic. She shouldn't end up alone.
Well, that was actually a very good thing for Baxter to do, so kudos to him.
Cassandra ever bring up her daughter?
Wouldn't shut up about her. We looked for Joy for days, but it was too risky. Cassandra has been begging me to track Joy down, but I haven't found her yet.
You're not gonna believe this. Joy's been helping me tonight.
Figures a cop like you would need help to get this far.
You mean like what? The help you got from her mom? Alright, you get back to Cassandra. Make sure she's still safe and bring her back to the station.
What are we gonna do?
I'm gonna quickly check out the cellar and come up with a plan. I hope.
So that's that then. I think it's kind of cool in a way that Ronan is able to talk to someone that he actually knew and that can communicate back with him, even though Baxter is dead, and that's kind of unfortunate. I mean, they don't get along, but he really appeared to be doing the right things, and he wasn't really up to no good like we thought he was. And I think at some point Ronan probably thought that he was the Bell Killer, but clearly that's not the case. So the bad news is that means the Bell Killer is still out there somewhere. So before we enter this cell, we can pick this up, and that is our last of the Salem's History plaques, and that will once again get you another achievement for collectibles.
What the hell happened down here?
So here we go with another investigation. I do believe this is the last investigation of the game. Can reveal this figure in front of us. It looks like he's a judge of some sort. So he was judging sternly and most likely accusing.
You claim righteousness, but you know your guilt and cannot deny your punishment is due.
So obviously this is probably something that happened quite a long time ago. If we turn to the left and we come into this room here, there's a couple of clues that we can look at. There's a cage. And we can phase through this little hole in the wall here. And in this corner is going to be our very last piece of the Ashes to Ashes story. You should get an achievement for finishing that, but you should also get an achievement for getting all of the collectibles in the game. That's all 173. So you'll get an achievement for each individual set that you finish, but you'll also get an achievement for getting all of the collectibles overall. So congratulations on that. This game has quite a few to grab, so it feels nice to be able to finish that up for sure. I think that was the only clue in this room. Oh, no, we missed one. This is a clue here on the bed. So obviously this was being used as a prison at some point, most likely when they would do the witch trials and condemn witches and things like that. There's some candles on top of this barrel. And then we have the shackles on the wall. And then finally, our last two clues are these two pieces to reveal that are in front of us. So we can investigate this girl here, who of course is Abigail, the ghost girl that we have been talking to and kind of seeing throughout the course of the game.
You stood for justice. How is this just?
So that kind of shows where she was at some point in her life back when she was alive. And then the final clue beside Abigail's memory there is the bell killer symbol. So when you have all your clues, you can try to conclude the investigation here. So we have the righteous man saying that punishment is due. We had Abigail here for punishment. And the last clue, I think, is maybe going to be the bell killer symbol.
You claim righteousness, but you know your guilt and cannot deny your punishment is due.
I thought you stood for justice. How is this just?
The courts are not a place for your murderous whimsy. You are a corrupt heathen. The families of those innocent souls you executed through false accusation of witchcraft will exact their righteous justice tonight.
False accusation?
What is that nonsense you draw?
My mark will burn like a brand in the flesh of this town. If it takes me to the ends of eternity, I will personally make the bell toll for every witch in Salem.
Wait. The guy who killed me is Abigail. She might be the bell killer. How is that possible? I gotta get out of here and figure out how to track her down.
Alright, so that, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty much the end of the game. We've sort of come to the realization that we were on kind of the wrong track.
Has Rex checked in? He's transporting a suspect to the station and we can't get him on the radio. He isn't picking up his phone either.
Nope, he hasn't checked in. We'll notify you when he shows.
Copy that.
Oh shit, if Rex is missing, it could be going down right now. Where'd you take Joy, you asshole?
Where would Abigail take Joy? Well, this is where the clue that Baxter had told us came in handy, talking about the instrument of my death will be used again tonight. So we need to probably look at that as a clue. We can use the gallows as our clue. That ghost girl from the alleys is Abigail Williams, and this gallows was actually used to execute her centuries ago. We can pair that with the killer's instrument of death. And I think the last clue is gonna be Abigail possibly being the Bell Killer.
Yeah. Instrument of death, meaning her death, where she was killed. The gallows at the museum. Hang on, kid. I'm on my way.
So that's it for Judgment House. And obviously, it all kind of comes down to this now. We need to go confront Abigail and find Joy. And we're gonna have to leave Baxter's body here, unfortunately. I hope someone comes and finds him. So we were really kind of on the wrong path for a long time. It really does take the entire course of the game to sort of figure everything out and to come to the right conclusion, and that is in fact that Abigail is the Bell Killer somehow, even though she's a ghost. And it looks like, looking back at the flashback, that she's had a real problem with witches ever since she was alive. And that, of course, is the main reason why the museum becomes a missable area. The final parts of the game take place in the museum, so we do not have the ability to come and go as we please. I should mention, too, that you have all the time in the world before deciding to go to the museum to go back inside the Judgment House if there were any collectibles that you missed. You can freely go in there and have no problems doing that if you're absolutely not sure that you have gotten everything in there. And you can also go back into the house even after you've left, but before you come over here to the museum. So that's going to be it for me, guys. We're going to do the game's sort of finale in the next video. We're going to confront Abigail, and hopefully Joy is okay. Thank you all so very much for watching, everybody, and I hope that I will see you next time.